Okay, so today I'm going to try and improve your ball strike through changing your nose position. So I've worked out that there are 3 totally different nose positions you need to play golf. So we're going to start with the first one. So this is just an iron, standard iron shot. When I take my setup, I want my nose to be directly over the top of the middle of my stance. My ball is in the middle of stance. It is not forward of center, it's right in the middle. So when I take my setup, I can drop the ball from my nose and it should hit the shaft and it should hit right where that alignment stick is. So by doing that, it's giving you the best chance of collecting the golf ball and then the turf afterwards. The mistake I see so many golfers when they come for lessons is they've got their head back here, so their nose position is well behind the ball. So if I drop from there, I'm a good 6 inches behind the middle of my stance, which means my club and my center of gravity is behind the ball. My club's going to bottom out behind and it's going to strike the ball on the rise. That's going to lead to poor contact. So just by getting your nose more over the middle of your stance, it's going to help you to make a better strike with your iron shots. And I say iron, I'm really saying any shot from the fairway, whether it's a fairway wood or a hybrid or an iron. We want that nose position to be over the center of the stance. Okay, now we come to tee shots. And in this case, I'm going to use my driver. So the correct nose position for my driver is also over the middle of my stance. So when I take my setup, the ball is forward, it's adjacent to my left heel, which is where we tee it off because the ball is up in the air. We move it forward so we can catch the ball on the up. We don't have to think about hitting up. The club will rise of its own accord, but we're meeting the ball at the right place in time to launch the ball correctly. But in doing so, the nose position should be straight over the top of the middle of my stance. So if I take my setup here, that ball's probably just a fraction forward of where I would normally put it. But if I take my ball and drop it from my nose, it's pretty much over the center of my stance. That's the perfect position. The mistake I see a lot of people make, and I'm seeing more and more of this at the moment, is they're trying to get their head back here. So the problem with getting my head back there, my nose is now over, almost over my right toe. I'm tilting my spine axis, but from that position, it's very difficult to turn and rotate my body. And if I can't rotate my body correctly, I'm gonna get through the shot far too early, out of sequence, and I'm gonna hit some poor shots. So yes, we want the nose to be behind the ball when we hit a driver. However, the nose should be over the center of my stance. So the iron position doesn't change from the tee position, our ball position changes. So on both of those, we want our nose to be directly over the middle of our stance, and that's going to help us to make better contact. And the third nose position I'm going to talk about to improve your ball contact is when we're hitting pitch shots or chip shots. So on both of these, they're slightly different, but the nose position is very similar. So on both of these, I want my nose to be slightly in front of the middle of my stance. So some golf pros talk about having your weight forward. I don't really like that term because what I see most people do when they get their weight forward is they do this. So they get their knees and hips moving to the left, but that's moved my spine to the right, my nose is now behind. If I set up with my nose behind, I'm going to make contact a good 4 to 6 inches behind the ball and I'm going to hit up on it. So the more I tilt this way, the more I'm going to hit up on it. We don't want to do that when we chip. The only time we want to hit up on it to a degree is a driver. When we're chipping, we want to hit with a descending blow. So I like to have the ball in the middle of my stance when I chip and when I pitch, but I definitely want my nose in front. So if I take my setup now and I drop from there, it's hit in front of that alignment stick. So center is okay, but I would prefer it to be slightly to my left. So if we get the nose in front, that's going to help us to hit the ball with a slightly descending swing, which is going to give us pretty good contact when we hit chips or pitches. So I'm going to hit just a pretty average little pitch here. My nose is in front. So I've made really nice contact. I've hit the ball, then turf. You could hear the crispness of contact in the microphone, and that's going to help make better contact. So there you have it. There's my 3 nose positions for you to improve your ball striking and making better contact. So don't be like most people and get that head back here, get it central, and with those pitches and chips, get it in front. If you want to have better scores, I'm going to put a link to another video just up here I know is going to help lower your score.